There's a game some of my friends and I play where we drive through town, hold our breaths, and only take a breath when we see a church. The funny thing about this game here in Lubbock is that it isn't hard. Like many here in Lubbock, I grew up as a Christian in a Christian household. What may have been somewhat unique to me was that my dad, who was a deacon at my church, left his faith when I was growing up. So I was worried about him, and I tried to change his mind using evidence and reason. Because he is a PhD in chemical engineering, I needed to increase my knowledge, I felt, if I wanted to be able to actually talk to him. So to this end, I really jumped into my science, and I looked at some philosophy books, and I just tried to learn as much as I could on the subject. But when I got to college, I thought to myself, what are the odds that I just happened to be born into the right religion? There's so many different beliefs out there, and I grew up just assuming that I'd been born into the one that happened to have a monopoly on truth. And I thought, this is unlikely. So in response to that, I went out and started learning as much as I could about as many belief systems as I could find. Some of them were Islam, Hare Krishna, Falun Gong, Taoism, Hinduism, Chinese religions. I wanted to know about all of them, and I wanted to learn about them from the people that practice them. So I wanted their perspective, not the Christian perspective on those belief systems. And going on that search caused me to ask a question. What if everyone decided what their worldview would be based on a personal search and evidence instead of where they grew up? Here's a distribution of belief systems across the world, and obviously there's plenty of mixing all over the place. But there's a higher concentration of Christianity in North America, and a higher concentration of Islam in parts of the Middle East, and of course Chinese religions in China, and a higher concentration of Hinduism in India. And so I thought, what would happen if, say, the people here in Lubbock took some time to learn about Hinduism, and really learn about it, not just what Christians think is wrong with it. Or what if people in the Middle East tried to gain a real understanding of Christianity, or those who grew up with Hinduism to learn about Falun Gong or another belief system. Because it seems like when it comes to religion, we throw science and reason out the window and say, whatever you want to believe is true, and your business. But what would happen if each person looked at evidence for and against each one before making a decision to follow it? Like how we treat ideas in the scientific community. Maybe one religion would have the majority of evidence. Maybe several would. Maybe there would be a gigantic tie. Maybe none of them would. Right now, people are content to stick with what is comfortable and what they already know, and it seems better to me that there would be more searching and more discussion. And that discussion ought to be based on reason, the scientific method, philosophy, and it can be unique to each person, and should be unique to each person. And even if no one ultimately decides to change what they believe, I think there's still a huge benefit to this. Genuine cross-cultural or cross-belief system understanding is a sort of olive branch that would decrease the fear of the unknown and would lead to an increase in peaceful interactions between nations.